Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Railsplitter Athletics Report. I am your host, Rusty Peace, and boy, I'll tell you what, we just jumped right into September and right into athletics here on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University. It's been unbelievable how much we've had going on here in terms of athletics over the last week. First full week of athletics last week, and not only were the fall athletic teams underway, you had soccer, you had volleyball and cross country, of course, but also men's and women's golf competing in the fall tournament that they had over there in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee over the weekend. Men's or baseball got started with fall practice last week. I don't know that we'll get to that today, but definitely next week. And of course, softball got started on fall practice. So a lot going on here on the LMU campus. We're going to tell you about all of it here tonight, as much of it as we can anyway, in 30 minutes. And we'll have all that and more when we return right here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Stay with us.
Nestled at the foot of the Cumberland Gap, Lincoln Memorial University honors the vision and spirit of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln's values are perfectly in sync with the modern educational experience at LMU. Our students find personal attention is a way of life and a way to success. If Lincoln Memorial University fits your vision of college, visit our website at lmunet.edu for more information.
The J. Frank White Academy is more than a high school. Your child will have room to grow in mind, body, and spirit. Small, safe learning environments, individualized learning plans, and cutting-edge technology. Every child deserves a quality education in a safe, nurturing environment.
Our college prep program teaches a love of learning, self-discipline, and service to others. The Academy is fully accredited by Advanced Ed. You have a choice at the J. Frank White Academy.
Since 1973, DeRoyal has been a leader and an innovator in manufacturing products for the healthcare industry. DeRoyal supplies more than 20,000 products and product lines such as acute care, orthopedics, wound care, and trauma. DeRoyal is proud to be the largest supplier of orthopedic soft goods to clinics and hospitals in the nation. Since its start in Tazewell, Tennessee, DeRoyal has grown to open factories in over 29 locations worldwide and employs over 2,000 people. DeRoyal, a name you can trust and an employer you can count on.
Looking for efficient, compassionate, and comprehensive health care for you and your family? Visit University Medical Clinic. All providers are faculty members of LMU's DeBus College of Osteopathic Medicine and are board certified in their specialty. Multiple specialties available including family medicine, pediatrics, OBGYN, and osteopathic manipulative medicine, with locations in Harrogate, Tazewell, and New Tazewell, and most insurance plans accepted. University Medical Clinic is here to serve you. Call 423-869-7193 for an appointment. University Medical Clinic.
Welcome back to the show. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get started. Last Thursday afternoon, the Lincoln Memorial University men's soccer team traveled down to Montevallo, Alabama to open the 2013 schedule against regional opponent Eckerd College. The event took place at a neutral site, and although the Railsplitters scored the opening 2 goals of the match, Eckerd came back to score 3 unanswered to eventually hand the LMU men a heartbreaking 3-2 overtime loss in their first match of the season. Earlier this week, we visited with head coach Helio Dana and got his thoughts on the loss to Eckerd.
The Eckerd game was, like any opener, was a little bit anxious in the early moments. You know, I mean, we, at the end, still have quite a few new players and some freshmen, but we were in control of just about 70–80% of the game. From the get-go, we had more possession, we created more chances to score. We look more dangerous of the two teams. Eckerd is a very strong team. They had just beat Flagler, that is number 8 in the nation. So they were also kind of having their chances as well. But the truth is, for 70 minutes, I thought this game is out of context, you know, or out of reach for them. We scored the first goal. We scored the second goal. We hit the post. Everything's looking great, and then soccer is a game of momentum. They had a penalty kick. I'm not even going to comment on the merits of the penalty kick call for them. And when they put that goal in, they kind of raised, you know, and our young kids kind of felt that pressure. And on a very fluke, they tied late in the game, and that totally changed the momentum. and in the overtime with about a minute, 45 seconds to go, they score, you know, so it was a heartbreaking loss. But you can tell we're a very good team, you know, very strong, and we'll make a run like we always do. But I wish I could, if not taking the tie, taking the win.
Sunday, the Railsplitters traveled down to Huntsville, Alabama, and took on a familiar regional opponent when they faced the University of Alabama, Huntsville. Unfortunately, the end result was a near carbon copy of what happened to the Railsplitters on Thursday, as LMU scored the opening 2 goals of the match, only to see the Chargers come from behind to score the last 3, with the final blow coming in overtime to take a 3-2 decision over the Railsplitters. Helio Dana and his men's team fell to 0-2 with the loss, the first time that's happened since Dana took over the helm of the program in 2003.
Funny as it sounds, the Huntsville game is almost the same script. You know, although we were short of a couple of critical players for that game due to the physical nature of the game before, but we still dominated most of the game. We still scored the first 2 goals. This time it was even more gut-wrenching because we were up 2-0 with 9 minutes to go. And the crowd, a lot of people there, you know, Huntsville always gets up for these games. The crowd was completely quiet. And then with about 9 minutes to go, they scored their first goal on a silly, silly breakdown. And we ended up feeling that pressure again, kind of the young kids having that sense, oh no, not again, you know. With about a minute to go, on a free kick. We were at that point committing too many fouls. On a free kick, they put one in and tied the game, and now we're heading to the overtime. And just like the previous game, the overtime were the better team. We kind of gathered our composure and decided to just let the game start fresh as far as the overtime, and one minute ago again we got scored on. So tough, you know, but I could have picked 2 easy games. I could have picked to walk in the park, and we will not be prepared for the conference. So there's some benefit of playing such a strong schedule.
Last night, Dana and his teams traveled down to Dahlonega, Georgia to take on the Nighthawks of the University of North Georgia and picked up their first win of the year to improve to 1-2 overall. Mario Pinto scored 2 of the 4 goals, while teammates George Byrne and Leonardo da Silva also scored en route to the win. This weekend, the LMU men travel to Hartsville, South Carolina to open the South Atlantic Conference schedule against the Cobras of Coker University. The match will follow the Lady Railsplitter outing against CU and will get underway at 7 p.m. And turning to women's soccer, last Friday afternoon, the Lady Railsplitters also got the 2013 season underway when they hosted the Eagles of Asbury University on campus at the LMU Soccer Complex. As expected, the LMU women had no problem upending Asbury as the Lady Railsplitters rolled up a 3-0 win to improve to 1-0 on the season. Following Friday's match, I had the opportunity to talk with Dana about the win and about his team's effort in the post-game interview. First of all, Coach, congratulations on a big win today. We looked mighty impressive, both offensively and defensively.
Thanks. We like playing Asbury. It's a team that always makes it hard for us and makes us just play as if it is an important regional game. Not that it's not an important game, but it was good to put a lot of the girls, actually all the girls, in today.
You and I have had the opportunity to talk extensively over the last week or two about this year's team, and we've mentioned a number of times that you only brought in 4 new players this year, but you've got so many sophomores and juniors and a few returning seniors that you know, a lot of people might look at this team and say, well, they really don't have a lot of experience, but when you think about it, a lot of them have been starters since their freshman year.
That's right. We like you said, we spoke about this. It's really a great balance between youth, the excitement that they have, and the fact that they're always just fearless. But they're also mature enough because, like you said, they've played quite a bit. So pressure is on in a little way because now it's time to produce. But I think this group is ready.
You've said in the past that our strong point has been defense. I think that was evident today. We really limited the number of offensive looks that Asbury had, both halves, but particularly in the first half. One of your main concerns coming into the season was goals. And today, while we didn't really have a great shooting percentage in terms of the number of goals we scored and the number of shots we had a lot of opportunities. And I know your philosophy, keep shooting, the goals will come.
Yeah, and if we do 3 goals a game for the rest of the year, we're going to be among the top teams in the history of the program. But we got to do a little better on the ratio, right? 33. If we can put 10 next time, I'll be happy.
On Sunday, the Lady Railsplitters traveled to Huntsville, Alabama, where they also took on the Chargers of the University of Alabama, Huntsville, and played to a 0-0 tie through 2 overtime periods. While the tie wasn't a loss and kept the LMU women unbeaten at 1-0-1, Dana still believes that though his team let one slip away and that they have to find a way to put more shots on frame and ultimately find a way to score more goals.
Yeah, I won't say that the game was a step backwards, because without a doubt, Huntsville is better than they were last year, you know, and we're playing their place last year. We beat them here, and last year was a very close game already. Yeah, we against these teams that are good enough to beat us, let alone to make it hard for us, we will not have many chances to score. We've had on that day maybe 5-6 chances, and we missed them. So now the thing about the critical games is going to be about maybe every 3rd chance put one in, and we didn't this game, you know. So again, it's not a step back on our goals for the year, because we're not comparing last year's Huntsville with this year's. They're much better, but we do need to finish games with a goal, 1 or 2 goals. You know, if the other team puts 1 extra and win, their merits, but at least we gave our chance, or gave ourselves a chance. So looking back in that game, we could have put at least 1, if not 2 goals in.
Unfortunately, Wednesday evening, the Lady Railsplitters tasted defeat for the first time this season when they lost a 2-1 decision to the University of North Georgia down in Dahlonega, falling to 1-1-1 on the year. Junior forward Nicole McKinney scored the Lady Railsplitters' only goal of the night in the 46th minute of the match. Saturday's women's match with Coker is set for a 4:30 p.m. start. That'll be the South Atlantic Conference opener, and that will be in Hartsville, South Carolina. Folks, we got a lot more to talk about tonight here on the show. We've not even touched on volleyball yet. We got cross country. We got a lot more to come, so stay with us. You're right here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Top off at mycokerewards.com.
No matter whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Subway of Harrogate and Middlesboro has your fresh interests at heart. On your way to work, try one of our mouth-watering breakfast sandwich or flatbread omelets. If it's lunch or dinner time, choose from our wide selection of classic, select, or premium sandwiches, all made to your order. If you're serving a crowd, Subway has sandwich platters, giant subs, box lunches, and even cookie platters. Whether it's dine-in or carry-out, you can eat healthy and eat fresh at Subway. Subway, 362 Catawba Avenue in Harrogate, and on the corner of the Village Square Mall, Middlesboro.
It's the Old Town Grill.
The Old Town Grill is a special place where you bring more than family, more than friends. Bring a hearty appetite, because at the Old Town Grill, you'll never walk away hungry. A delicious change from the ordinary. The perfect place to bring the entire family. The best food and plenty of it. Join the fun and treat your appetite to something special.
It's the OTG.
The OTG is the place to be.
I will help families adopt children from around the world and in our own backyard.
I am teaching ethics to the next generation of lawyers.
I will make a difference for the underserved of this region.
I will be an advocate for my clients.
As a prosecutor, I fought for those who couldn't speak for themselves.
I'm a lawyer and professor.
I will be a lawyer.
I will be a lawyer.
I will be a lawyer.
Let's get back to business. Last Friday, Jeremy Donahue and the Lincoln Memorial University cross-country teams traveled to Cincinnati, Ohio to participate in the Queen City Invitational. The event hosted competitors from various levels of collegiate play, some of which LMU will face later this season in other races. The Lincoln Memorial University men placed 14th overall and ran without the services of preseason All-SAC performer Ryan Mecca, while the Lady Railsplitters placed 11th and made a strong showing in their first meet of the season. When we talked earlier this week with Donahue, he was pleased with how both teams responded and believes that when they're up to full strength, they'll run even better.
Well, the women going in, we knew it was going to be tough competition, knew it was going to be top to bottom a deep field. So the focus for us was just getting out, working on race tactics, running well together, staying focused through the line. And I was pleased with that. When you look at our performances, 1 through 9, it was probably a lot better start to the season than last year, 1 through 9 as a whole. So I was pleased to see that improvement, see the intensity they ran, the way they ran well together. And while the result in the field wasn't quite what we would like, what we gained out of that race will help us down the line and as we head into more familiar competition. Much like the women, it was tough competition. We headed in there without one of our key performers in Ryan Mecca, so we knew that was going to hurt us as a team. But we had strong performances up front with Brandon and Bradley doing what we expected them to do, running well, running within themselves, good solid start to the season. But was really interested to see how Leo and Twig were going to run for us because they're going to be key pieces for us this season for us to achieve what we want to achieve. And I was pleased with how Leo ran in his first ever cross-country race, was able to stay with Twig most of the race, and I think those two runners will see great improvement throughout the season, gaining a lot of fitness from week to week. And so they had a good solid start this past season.
This weekend, Donahue's teams traveled over to Montreat, North Carolina to participate in the Hyder McMahill Invitational. The event will be held at Black Mountain, site of the 2013 Food Lions South Atlantic Conference Tournament Championship. And according to Donahue, the opportunity to run on the championship course may give his team some much-needed insight for the event later on this season.
Yeah, that's why we're heading over there to take a look at the course, see what it's going to be like, and as well get some early look at the competition this year. While not all the teams will be over there, a good handful plus will be over there. So we'll get a good feel of where we stand right now, and while the team dynamics and how the fitness will change over the next 6 weeks for everybody, you still get a good feel, again, for the course and where we are now, what we need to work on in the coming weeks. So excited to see familiar competition after running some teams that were pretty tough last weekend.
Following this weekend's meet, the LMU cross-country teams have only 3 races remaining on the regular season schedule, not including the SAC Championship and the NCAA Southeast Regional. Turning to volleyball, last Friday and Saturday, Jenny Michael and the Lincoln Memorial University volleyball team traveled down to Savannah, Georgia for the 2013 Armstrong Atlantic State University Classic. The event featured several of the region's stronger teams and pitted the Lady Railsplitters against Shorter University and host Armstrong Atlantic on the opening day of competition. Although LMU lost both matches on Friday to Shorter 3-0 and to AASU 3-0, all sets were tightly contested. On Saturday, however, the Lady Railsplitters bounced back by knocking off Flagler University 3-0 and Georgia Regents University Augusta 3-1. That was to improve their record to 2-2 on the year. That comeback set the stage for LMU's Tuesday night home opener and South Atlantic Conference debut with Mars Hill College. In their first match of the home match of the season, the LMU women picked up a 3-1 win over Tony Fontenelle and the Lions to improve to 3-2 overall and 1-0 in league play. Following the match, Mike Smith and I had the opportunity to sit down with Jenny Michael and talk about her team's performance.
Yes, sir. Definitely we are going to be a roller coaster all year long. And just like when you're at a theme park, when you've got a roller coaster, it can be really fun and exciting when you're getting there and you're climbing, you're chugging, you're trying to get to the top, get all that adrenaline, and we're going to be fun to watch at times. But when we're going on the downhill, we're going to think that we don't even have our safety harness on at times because when we fall hard, and it's not pretty.
This weekend, Michael and her Lady Railsplitters ventured down to Aiken, South Carolina for the USC Aiken Classic hosted by the University of South Carolina, Aiken. Friday's action will feature LMU taking on Converse College and Lander University, while Saturday's final round pits the Lady Railsplitters against Palm Beach Atlantic and the Pacers of USC Aiken. We'll have results on how the Lady Railsplitters fared on next week's show. And turning to golf action from earlier this week, the Lincoln Memorial University men's and women's golf teams traveled to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee to compete in the Smoky Mountain Intercollegiate at Sevierville Golf Club. The event featured approximately 20 teams and was one of 4 golf outings on the 2013 fall schedule for both squads. The Lady Railsplitters finished in 8th place with a team score of 628, while the Railsplitters came in 7th by shooting a combined 2-day total of 604. On Wednesday, I caught up with LMU head coach Travis Muncy and talked to him about his team's first tournament of the 2013-14 schedule.
The women performed actually quite well. We finished, top of our conference almost. Newberry, clipped us by 1, and the women played astonishing well because we're a young team, haven't had a lot of time to prepare for this venue, and the play was astonishing for me.
The LMU golf teams have until September 23rd to prepare for the annual Tusculum Fall Classic hosted by Tusculum University. That'll be at Link Hills Country Club in Greenville, Tennessee. The event will be the final match of September for the Lady Railsplitters, while the LMU men's B team will play in the King Invitational September 30th and October 1st. And in other Lincoln Memorial University sports news, this Friday, Benny Collins and the men's and women's tennis teams will host their only home event of the fall 2013 schedule. Beginning at 9 a.m., LMU will host Carson Newman, Tusculum, and the University of the Cumberlands in the annual speed tournament that has become popular with each of the schools and has been held at the LMU tennis complex for the past few years. Earlier this week, Railsplitter Athletics Report ventured down to the Petite Fieldhouse and talked with Collins about this year's event, the teams involved, and exactly what a speed tournament consists of.
The speed tournament starts this Friday at 9 a.m. and we'll be using the new tennis complex right here, and we'll also be using the old tennis courts that we still have, 6 courts up there. So we'll have 13 courts going all at once. See, the teams that will be there will be Carson Newman, Tusculum, and the University of the Cumberlands, and of course LMU. The speed tournament, what this does, it allows you to play several times, and what happens is you either play an 8-game pro set or you play for 45 minutes. Nobody wins, somebody loses most of the time. If you're up 5-1 or whatever, when I call time at 45 minutes, new players walk on the court. So it gets you a chance to play many different opponents several times, and we'll mix it up and let everybody play, and it's a good thing for all the teams.
Again, that speed tournament starts 9 o'clock Friday morning on the both courts on the Lincoln Memorial University campus, and Coach Collins and his teams would love to see people come out in support for the LMU speed tournament. And in other Lincoln Memorial University sports-related news, former LMU head men's basketball coach Rick Byrd, now the head coach at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, has been named chairman of the NCAA Men's Basketball Rules Committee. Byrd, one of the most respected and trusted voices in college basketball, assumed the role September 1st and will serve as committee chair for the next 2 years. Byrd succeeds outgoing chair John Doon of St. Peter's. The NCAA Men's Basketball Rules Committee is comprised of 13 coaches and administrators who assess both current and proposed rules to promote consistency and fair play in the game. In May, Byrd was also inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, along with former LMU kinesiology professor Chris Jones, who was a basketball All-American at Carson Newman University, as well as Penny Hardaway, a former Memphis University standout who later played in the NBA. With the Railsplitters, Byrd was 69-28 overall and finished his career at LMU as head coach with a 32-4 volunteer state athletic conference record. And that is quite an accomplishment when you think of the things that he's done. He also enters the 2013-14 season 7th among all active NCAA Division I head coaches in career victories with 663. We're going to take another break. When we come back, I've got some big breaking news that just came to us on Thursday morning out of the LMU Athletics Department by way of the South Atlantic Conference office in Rock Hill, South Carolina. You're not going to want to miss this, folks. It's going to be a big announcement, and you need to stay with us. We'll be right back after this on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Lincoln Memorial University honors the vision and spirit of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln's values are perfectly in sync with the modern educational experience at LMU. Our students find personal attention is a way of life and a way to success. If Lincoln Memorial University fits your vision of college, visit our website at lmunet.edu for more information.
I know I make a difference.
I never get bored.
I will save a life.
This is who I am.
I will be a nurse.
I will be a nurse.
I will be a nurse.
We represent the Coke brand, and we would love to somehow bring some kind of legal action against Coke Zero.
There might be some taste infringement issues.
There's really no legal concepts of a company
bringing a lawsuit against itself.
If this is the king of the jungle, they're acting like the toucan that's on the branch, real colorful and preening, and showing off, and hey, look at us. I want to take a stick and knock that toucan off the branch.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
The J. Frank White Academy is more than a high school. Your child will have room to grow in mind, body, and spirit. Small, safe learning environments, individualized learning plans, and cutting-edge technology. Every child deserves a quality education in a safe, nurturing environment.
Our college prep program teaches the love of learning, self-discipline, and service to others. The Academy is fully accredited by Advanced Ed. You have a choice at the J. Frank White Academy.
The Duncan School of Law at LMU, where innovative teaching meets cutting-edge technology.
Welcome back to the show. On Thursday morning, Lincoln Memorial University Athletics Director Roger Vinoy made the announcement that the South Atlantic Conference President's Committee had passed a ruling that the scholarship restriction would be lifted for the member institutions throughout the South Atlantic Conference. Now, what does that mean? Well, the NCAA has a certain amount of scholarships that it allows its member 2 institutions. The South Atlantic Conference had put a limitation on that at some point in years past. They lifted that. So in terms of the major sports at Lincoln Memorial University, men's and women's basketball, it may not make a big difference, but when you look down the line at some of the, and I hate the term, mid to lower tier sports, such as tennis, soccer, cross country, and golf, you would go in, for instance, tennis's case from 2 full scholarships to 6, from soccer standpoint from 4 to 8. So when the universities and each institution in the South Atlantic Conference will decide individually how they want to handle that, when LMU makes the decision how they want to handle that, it could impact those programs with unbelievable fortune, because now you can compete on an even plane with the rest of the Division II leagues in the country. An interesting note, the South Atlantic Conference until this season was the only NCAA Division II conference that had a scholarship restriction. That was lifted. There was another conference a year ago, the Conference Carolinas. They lifted that last year. So a really big occurrence here that should work in the favor of not only Lincoln Memorial University, but all of the South Atlantic Conference member institutions in competing on a regional and national level. Now again, let's not put the cart before the horse. You need to understand that each institution will decide how they will handle this. It may not be across the board. They may not lift that scholarship restriction from an institutional standpoint for all of their sports that they sponsor. At Lincoln Memorial right now we have 13 NCAA Division II sports. That will be left up to the presidents and I'm sure the board of directors to decide. Nonetheless, I'm sure that at the very least, most of the programs on the LMU campus will get a little piece of that pie, if not maybe even fully funded. And as a result of that, I think down the road, 3, maybe 4 years, maybe less, you're going to see some LMU teams making it deep into NCAA regional and national tournament play. That's all the time we have for this week. Until next week, I'm Rusty Peace. For everybody behind the scenes, good night, everybody.